Hello, and welcome to Look Behind You, the podcast where we talk about the paranormal, the supernatural, and everything in between. I am Sir Boom, your host, the man that mixes up his words. I am joined today by my 3 co-hosts. Yes, we duplicated.
How many
multiplied.
co-hosts do you have before you just have guests?
We found a strange creature along the road.
I thought this was your companion, but okay.
This is my companion.
Anyways, the man that is talking is Ramen Cat.
Hello.
And the man that talked before is Wolf.
I am no longer.
And the little squeak you heard is
Kai.
Kai. Yes, that is her actual username. So there we go.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, you excited to be on here?
Yes, I am.
Cool. So on today's episode, we are talking about lumberjacks.
Well, fearsome lumberjack lore.
Yes.
And a bunch of critters.
And a bunch of critters.
Talking about some lumberjacks.
Fearsome lumberjacks and flannel wearing critters.
No, in all actuality, we're talking about lumberjack lore. In particular, we're talking about fearsome critters. And also we're going to be talking about a little bit of Paul Bunyan and some of the supernatural things that lumberjacks would do in their free time. So yeah.
Supernatural things lumberjacks would do in their free time?
Yeah, didn't you know they're all a bunch of witches?
Oh.
No, it just gets so cold that their words would freeze, and then once they thaw out, you'd hear them talk a couple months later.
I kind of wish winters were like that.
And the snow would turn blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the fur trout would be like puffballs because of humidity. Oh, that'd be so cute.
You'll learn about those later.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like it's been such a long time since we recorded an episode. I don't know where to go
Because
from
it's
here.
been 3 weeks instead of 2.
It has been 3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, I know where to go next.
Technical meltdown.
How you guys been?
Oh. Busy.
Busy?
Really busy.
Really busy?
Really, really busy.
Great conversation. I'm so glad we're putting this on the internet.
Yeah.
How about you, Ramen Cat? How you been?
Incredibly freakishly busy between work, a haunted house, and yeah, it's about it.
How
about you?
How about me?
Yes.
I've been busy.
I think we've all been busy. We can establish this.
Actually, no. I've actually had a lot of free time lately.
That's where my free time
and
went.
mine.
And mine.
I kind of been sick last weekend, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched
Yeah,
a lot of anime. I watched some movies. The Mist is still really good.
You also just didn't show up one day at work, and I'm like, did Boom die in a car wreck?
I texted my boss.
Yeah, but no one told me.
Oh, nobody told me that
No
you...
one tells me, like, anything.
We literally work on the opposite ends of the workplace.
Yeah, and I
Like-
just sit in a dusty little corner all day.
Dude, I sit in a dusty old room that's literally built on the side of everything.
Fair point.
Anyways, Kai, how have you been?
Very, very busy. I've been working on building a haunted house
Yeah.
all week.
So you're
Where
doing
do you
some...
get the bodies?
That's what I'm there for.
You need to be a little bit closer to your mic, bud.
I sat backwards.
I know you sat backwards. Anyway, so yeah, you're building a haunted house. That's cool.
There we go.
Are you building or you built a haunted house?
It is fully ready to go. I just have to do some lighting and we'll be all set to go.
Nice.
Help. I'm
No.
trapped in there.
Yeah, you're going to be working in the haunted house.
Yes, I am.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I can't beat people up.
So what are you guys like dressing up as?
I'm going to be a broken porcelain doll. For the
Oh,
dolls.
that's going to be cool.
Yep, we have like an attic dollhouse type room area. And you're going to be in the cultist?
Yeah, because, that's not always my obsession.
So are you like gonna be summoning something, or
I don't know yet.
Or are you going to be what you summoned? What they think you're?
you know
gonna
it'd be really terrifying.
They
So you
think
have
you-
like that big cauldron that you guys had last year,
Mm-hmm.
and you like summoning something, and like right as soon as they walk into the area, you like finish your summoning thing, and Barney just pops out of the
Oh
cauldron.
dear Lord!
A guy in a
Yes.
Barney costume gets out of the cauldron and just chases the people into the next area.
That would be terrifying. Yeah, but no, that's not happening.
Aw.
My area is going to be where the fog machine is, though, so it's going to be really shrouded, and everything is red.
What if theoretically I had a Barney costume that we could use?
I would be asking a lot of questions, like, why do you own a Barney costume?
Because why not?
Because that's creepy.
You have to scare the neighborhood somehow.
You do. I mean, that cat that was out here is tattooed and would shank you for your
Turns out
tuna.
your neighbors don't say hi to you when you just look out your front window in a Barney costume.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and all jokingness aside, yeah, so cool. That sounds like really fun. We should probably do a little introduction. So Kai Kai is a friend of ours, and also Ramen Cat's. I don't know. How do you want to put it?
Girlfriend?
Okay.
I don't know how else you put that.
Well, I mean, some people are kind of weird about putting relationship stuff on the internet, so I didn't actually know if you want to address that.
Girlfriend.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how she got her ticket into the recording thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know the group before I became your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That you
I
did.
technically did offer to have you on Baka Talk before this,
Yes, you did.
and then we just never did it.
You just
so.
didn't, since I'm usually her ride, you just didn't want me awkwardly sitting in the corner not knowing what to talk about.
I also offered you to be on Baka Talk as well, but you said you had like nothing to talk about.
That is true. I still have nothing to talk about. I just incoherently babble.
That's Baka Talk. That's literally idiot talk for you.
Yes, but I don't have anything fun to talk
Oh,
about.
okay, sure. All right. Anyways, all this weird introduction stuff aside, let's get into the stories.
Yes.
So, Wolf,
I just realized
what?
the screen is right behind me.
Right, you have your phone.
This
me
is
pull
what
that up.
technology is for.
Were you just expecting to read the screen?
No, I don't know what we're talking about right now.
Fearsome creatures.
Critters.
Critters. Yeah, right.
You gotta
because-
specify, because if you look at fearsome creatures, you get a bunch of random stuff. Fearsome critters are actually the category.
All right, true. All right, so we're talking about fearsome critters. So what's some of your favorite critters?
Well, we did just have a 15-minute long conversation about the aggro pelter.
We did. Well, I don't know if it was 15-minute conversation or more you just acting like an aggro pelter for 15 minutes.
Well, maybe before we go talking about the agripelter and the fur-bearing trouts and all that other stuff, maybe we should tell people what fearsome critters are.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the best way to tell them about them is just get right into it.
Yes, but we're not lumberjacks, so we can't do that.
Speak for yourself.
You might be.
I mean, he does cut wood.
Does he wear
True.
flannel?
I wear
I've thought
flannel.
about it.
So if you wear flannel and Wolf cuts wood, does that just make you both lumberjacks?
We do the Dragon Ball fusion thing, and we just become Paul
Lumberjack.
Bunyan.
Boom Wolf. Lumberjack.
Oh.
All right.
Kame
anyways.
Kameha those trees.
All right. Anyways, fearsome critters. Fearsome critters were an integral part of oral tradition in Northern America logging camps. I apologize for my voice, especially this week, because of course I just got over being sick, and yeah, that's always fun.
Sinuses.
Yeah, sinuses. So yeah,
Never
integral.
fun.
What was that?
Never fun.
Never fun. So yeah, integral part of oral tradition in Northern American logging camps during the turn of the 20th century. They were basically meant to pass time, be tall tales, and just have basically stupid excuses for traditions that loggers had, such as drinking a lot, having safety protocols like not leaving your axes around all the time. And also reasons for tragedies that would be struck out logging, like disappearances, people getting attacked by things that they weren't necessarily sure what they were back in those days. And also, I mean, you have a new guy come onto the camping area. You just have to scare the living crap out of them.
Yeah, and that was from my research. A lot of it would just be something for two old veteran loggers just to mess with the new guy.
When you're up in the woods,
like up in the mountains of like Minnesota and stuff.
For 6 months.
Wait, there's mountains in Minnesota, right?
I believe so.
The Minnesota mountains?
Minnesota has lakes. Lots of lakes.
Okay, around the lakes of Minnesota.
They probably also have mountains.
I mean, their loggers were here in Michigan. They were in Wisconsin.
Sure, the mountains of Michigan.
Yeah, the mountains of Michigan. But I mean, like, loggers were just everywhere.
Yeah.
When you're up there for like 6 months out of the year,
Yeah.
just with you and the other loggers,
Yep.
what else are you going to talk about?
Agri-pelters.
That.
I mean, yeah, you're in the woods for such a long time, your mind starts like playing tricks on you.
That
Yeah.
too.
So yeah. Yeah, so basically what lumberjacks would do is they would kind of start off with like something pretty normal, right? Like you'd have like a cart, like a fish, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know, a few bottles of whiskey or like moonshine or rum, whatever, a few bottles later,
it had fur.
it had fur.
I seen a trout. Oh, yeah. Well, I seen a furry trout.
Yeah, exactly. Or you would have a snake. It's like, hey, you ever see that snake? Yeah, the one that like bites its tail and just kind of rolls around. Yeah, that one.
To be fair, I kind of feel like somewhere in the wild an animal has been dumb enough to do that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, some snakes are dumb enough to almost eat themselves.
That's probably what they seen then.
Yeah.
So yeah, unlike most of our topics, and I say most because, of course, we talk about the paranormal and supernatural. So like, take that with a grain of salt, or like a whole salt block, one of the two.
Well, a lot of them we theorize.
We
on.
theorize. This one is just good old folklore that kind of, in my personal opinion, just kind of started the whole cryptid genre.
Yeah.
Kind
If you
of,
think
yeah.
about it, like these are just all like
yeah.
original cryptids, like early 20th century cryptids.
It at least fills up mass parts of cryptids.
Yeah.
And really, it's kind of that piece of United States and North America history that just is not touched on.
No. Honestly, until like doing subjects like this, like I heard about Paul Bunyan. Like I think everybody's basically seen like that Disney animated Paul Bunyan movie, right?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
True, yeah.
Like if you haven't seen the Disney movie, that's a good one to start with, I'd think. And
Yeah, it
then
would
like
be.
go into like bigger lore. But like yeah, everybody's heard of like the big, no pun intended, the big story of Paul Bunyan.
He was a big man.
Some say the biggest.
Yeah.
The
I'd
biggest
say-
in all the land.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
But anyways, I forgot where I was going.
Paul Bunyan.
Oh, about the fact of it being part of American
Oh yeah, it's
folklore.
just I don't know. Without like the stories like this, I don't know like what I don't know. I couldn't imagine what like creepypastas would be like nowadays.
Yeah, well,
True.
it's
Yeah.
interesting because it's not where a lot of folklore and myths stem off from older places, like in Europe and stuff,
Yeah,
or from Native American lore. This just completely spun itself from around the campfire. Like,
Yeah.
there's a few creatures here and there in it that are, like, kind of borrowed from stuff. But outside of that, they're all original things. And like you said earlier, just to kind of explain weird phenomena in the woods and stuff.
yeah,
Or what maybe the loggers might have seen drunk, that they might have seen they thought they saw.
exactly.
Really drunk.
Like spoiler alert, but there's a whole fearsome critter in here that is all about being soaked in alcohol, basically being so drunk that you radiate alcohol. So that way the thing won't eat you.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the one.
So
Alcohol seems to be a remedy in a lot of these things.
yeah,
Or the creatures are getting drunk on other things.
Like
Exactly.
cactuses.
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like that's a good introduction to like fearsome creatures, or like
Yeah.
why they exist, anyways. So fearsome creatures, I keep on saying fearsome creatures.
Because it's a
Fearsome
cool
critters.
word.
Fearsome critters. I need to go to my redneck now.
Do it.
I can't do my redneck with my throat, which I didn't know even hurt until I tried podcasting today. Anyway, so fearsome critters, you have everything. I guess I can just start shouting off some names really quick just to give an introduction. We have the aggro pelter. We have
Yep.
the axe-handled hound, the ball-tailed cat, the cactus cat, the Dungan Haven Huta, the Glaucus, the Gumbaro, the hide behind, the Hodag, the Hodag,
Hodag.
the jackalope, the Jersey Devil. Hey, we know that guy.
Yeah, we know him quite well.
The
I
Side Hill Gouger,
Get
the
the cannon
Splinter
wolf.
Cat, the Squonk, the
I
Tea
want-
Kettler, the Wampus Cat, the Whirling Wampus. We have birds like the ball buzzard, the Gagalu bird, the goofus bird. We have fish like the fur-bearing trout. And then we have serpents like the hoop snake, the joint snake, the snallygaster, and the snow snake.
Snallygaster's favorite.
Yeah,
It's North America's dragon.
I don't know. I'm quite partial to the Gungan Hoofen Huta.
Aggro pelter here.
Mainly because I,
mean-
feel like I'm speaking German. when
I
say
mean,
it.
out of all these creatures, my favorite is the fur-bearing trout.
Yeah, he's the cutest.
He is the cutest. For anyone
Does
that
sound
wants to
quite
look it
adorable.
up, it is a trout, probably like a brown trout, a rainbow trout, and then it just has this adorable woolly coat over its whole body, except for its head and tail.
Yep.
It's adorable. We all need woolly fur-bearing trout.
I don't know, those eyes.
Well,
Those eyes
that's
say
'cause
they
it-
say something.
That's just because it's a
That-
taxidermied
that's
fish.
just a fish.
I feel bad for the cat they skinned for this.
That's probably rabbit fur.
I feel bad for the rabbit they skinned for this.
No, that looks like cat fur.
I mean, it could be. They probably
Either
used the
one.
fur from the prop they made for the jackalope.
That's true.
True.
And of course, with these kind of critters, no one has ever been out west without seeing a jackalope. I mean, like in restaurants and diners and gift shops and stuff. And for those of you that don't know what a jackalope is, it's a jackrabbit with deer antlers.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I seen one out in the wild, I've seen so many out west, I probably wouldn't even notice that I've seen a jackalope.
Yeah.
Hey, why is that taxidermy thing moving?
I'm going to be honest here. Until I think Tuesday, I thought they existed. I just didn't give a second thought to it. It was like, oh, it's just a bunny with antlers. That sounds like it could exist.
That sounds logical.
There's thinking deer with fangs.
There is deer with fangs. I mean, it's not really that far-fetched of a creature.
So I'm just like, oh yeah, a jackalope. I didn't know it was fake.
I could see him thinking it up, or seeing like a bunny, like by a drowned branch with trees,
Oh, yeah, that would
and
work.
seeing it there while they're drunk and thinking the bunny had antlers.
I gotta bag that.
Oh, that's just a normal bunny.
I could
Why is
even
the
see
antlers?
I could even see a bunny with like a deer's skull or something on its head.
Yeah.
Just playing around with
Yeah.
it.
Like that one Pokemon.
Oh
Just
yeah,
a skull.
the bone thingy guy.
Bone skull or something.
What's the guy? He carries his mother's skull on his head.
Cubone?
Cubone.
Cubone, yeah.
Yeah, and he has
Was it
the
Cubone? Yeah,
yeah,
Cubone
Cubone.
and Marowak.
Marowak is the evolved version.
Yeah. Those
Speaking
were-
of Pokemon, we were just listening to the Pokemon opening before this.
Yes, we were, because Fearsome Critters are just nothing but tough Pokemon.
And it makes me want to
Yeah.
get the new Pokemon game for my Switch now and play it.
Weeb.
How does that make me a weeb?
I don't know, I'm just joking.
It's not like I want to watch the
Anyways,
anime. I've
back
already
to-
seen the anime.
Back to our Fearsome Critters.
Okay. So,
I was actually, when going through this list, was not aware the Jersey Devil was part of the Fearsome Critters.
I
Neither
found
did
it
I.
interesting as well, but the more I looked into it, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, with its description and stuff.
There's
I
also
don't-
just a lot
I
of
honestly
logging
don't think
camps.
loggers came up with the idea. I still think it came from like original like folklore,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they just acquired it as like they're working in the New Jersey swamps,
Yeah, logging.
and like they're just talking like, oh hey, the Jersey Devil could be around the corner.
Yeah.
it's a
It could
newer
be.
lumberjack story.
Yeah,
It would be interesting too. Well, obviously you can't know this, but how many like of these creature stories have been lost over time?
oh
Oh,
yeah,
hundreds.
Like I
yeah.
imagine this list is probably like 10 times bigger. than
There's
this.
probably some that were only ever mentioned one night and they just forgot about it.
True.
Yeah.
I mean that's the whole point of just storytelling. So
Yep.
all right, anyways, back to the original thing that we were gonna do at the beginning of the episode. Wolf,
Yes.
what is your favorite fearsome critter?
Okay, let me pull up the name just so that I can say it right.
All right.
So I keep messing it up.
And this is how we're gonna go. I'm gonna ask everybody's fearsome critter, and then you're
The
gonna
rubber
explain it.
rado.
The rubber whatto?
The rubber rado.
The rubber rado.
Yes.
Sounds like a flex tape variant.
That's actually a good way to describe it.
Oh,
Let me read the description that I have. This creature was a porcupine whose spines and flesh were extremely rubbery. It used this ability to bounce across the land, and once it was cooked, its flesh became inedible. And bullets bounced off its flesh, meaning it could be armored and even. It could be armored, and even time it bounced, it laughed. Every time it bounced, it laughed. So
how does a porcupine laugh?
Actually, porcupines are very vocal.
Really?
Yeah, if you look them up on YouTube, the ones that are rescued by like people that take care of injured animals and
Yeah.
stuff, they are very talkative and they're very demanding.
Huh.
So for the rubberado, just picture a porcupine,
yeah.
rubbery, bouncing and laughing, and can't be shot.
I mean, that kind of sounds just like most porcupines. Like, if you ever encounter, I have encountered porcupines in the woods, and they'll just be walking along, like, they will, like, walk with swagger.
Yeah, I've
And they
seen
will
some climb
stop
trees.
and look back at you with the most sassy look possible. Like, what? What you gonna do?
It's like, what are you going to do against a porcupine?
Give it
Nothing.
a wide, respected
Exactly.
space.
Like, okay, you could shoot it, but this one's made out of rubber. You can't shoot it.
That is true. Okay.
True.
Well, interesting.
That's my favorite one.
nice. All right, wolf.
Yes.
I mean, ramen
As
cat.
Boom is looking right at me.
Hey,
Outside of the fur-bearing trout, which will always and forever be my favorite fearsome critter,
yeah,
I would have to say it is the Snallygaster.
the Snallygaster.
Yes, because one, it is North America's dragon. This one actually, it kind of is believed to have been borrowed from German folklore by German immigrants that came over, which will also explain why it being a dragon, because Europe was apparently proliferated with dragon stories.
Germans also had really big dragon stories.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of like the old stories of dragons and stuff came from Germany.
Yep.
But the Snallygaster was like a dragon-like creature. It was a cross between like a bird and a serpent. It was reported to have long, like metallic claws and just very, very aggressive. It also has a bit of notoriety of fame in the fact of in the 20th century, it was going to be hunted by Theodore Roosevelt before he almost postponed a safari trip to Africa to go hunt the Snallygaster before deciding, I'm going to go to Africa. And he probably shot like a dinosaur or something in Africa and didn't even think anything of it.
I have one question. How big is it?
The Snallygaster, let me find it real quick. There was something here that was...
Like, is it dragon size or like just
Apparently
small?
it had octopus-like tentacles in some stories.
So that's creepy.
Yes,
I
it
don't
is.
see anything about size, but it did say it was big enough that it would just swoop down from the sky and just carry off its victims. So.
Okay, because I was picturing like a dog-sized dragon.
No, this and a lot of stuff is portrayed just as like full-size dragon.
Okay.
So I'm just going to assume that it's just it's a
Huge.
dragon.
A dragon! I saw a dragon!
And then Uncle Teddy Roosevelt just came on and just
I got myself a
There
dragon.
we go again. People just shooting cryptids.
Okay, Theodore Roosevelt was the best in the fact of he went hunting for Bigfoot.
Multiple
He
times.
invested money into researching and trying to track down Bigfoot
To hunt him.
to hunt him.
Why? Does
But,
everybody want to shoot Bigfoot?
Theodore Roosevelt was different in the fact of he would hunt things, but as soon as he knew something was rare, he was very much for conserving it to make sure that it stayed around and like repopulate it.
Oh, okay.
And he was very much in the case of a sportsman, like don't just tie up an animal and shoot it and take a picture with it. Like if you're hunting it, it better hunt you.
Oh, all right. That makes sense.
Kind of like a big game hunter.
Yeah, he was very much a big game hunter. But it's just interesting to me. He actually would stop for a minute, listen to a story, and be like, what if?
Yeah.
And then he'd either go do it or he wouldn't go do it.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I have to give him props for that.
Yeah.
All right, Kai. So, for the
Hi.
little bit that you have heard of us talk about Fearsome Critters, what's your favorite?
The axe hound?
The axe hound?
yeah.
That's a good one.
Do you say that just because the fact you just want one?
What's the...
He
True,
looks cute.
true.
Like
He
this
looks
drawing of him
adorable.
looks amazing.
axe handle hound?
I guess he's probably, they made him up just as a warning to other lumberjacks to not leave their axes lying around.
Yeah.
Because you would just, your axe handles would just disappear. He would eat them and destroy them.
Don't
but
leave
he's
your handle
adorable.
out overnight. The dog will get it.
But yeah, that little drawing of it's adorable. Yeah, I would like a nice, looks like a nice little creature.
So, what would you describe the axe handle hound looking like?
It looks like an axe, but in hound version.
It's an axe, but it's a dog.
It's a dog
Kind of looks
with
like...
a nice fluffy tail.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a Looney Tunes dog that just ate an axe head.
So,
Yes, it is.
for anyone old enough or grew up with the original animated Disney Alice in Wonderland, it reminds me of the Broom Dog.
Oh,
The
yeah.
one that just has that little tune as it's going along.
Yep.
Barely remember it.
So we need to cross the Broom Dog with an
The
axe
axe
handle
dog.
hound.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Utensil pets.
But yeah, as Kai was saying, probably the most the
The origin of the story.
the origin of the story makes the most sense if you think about it as a warning to the new folks that were in the area to not leave their axes around, not to lose their axes because the axe hound's going to eat the.
Yeah.
And I could see that being a good excuse so they can't argue. Like, hey, don't leave your axes laying around, otherwise the dog will get it.
Or on the opposite end, it was a good excuse for people that left their axes around and they disappeared,
Yeah.
just like the
True.
dog ate my homework.
Yeah.
Or if they just like were working and they set down their axe
could
and
that
they
be
just
the
disappeared.
original of the origin of the dog ate my homework? My dog ate the axe?
Yes.
it was the axe handle hound,
Yeah,
I
it
tell
could
you.
be. I mean,
Boss, I can't work today. The dog ate my axe.
Oh, not again.
You gotta get that hound under control, man.
All right, Boom is researching something. You can hear his fearsome gamer clicks.
With his mechanical keyboard.
So what you got, Boom?
it was the first noted thing about the dog ate my homework was given by it was taken in by a speech given by retiring headmaster James Bouchard in 1929 and published in the Manchester Guardian. So It was said by a headmaster of, I'm guessing, a school or a college. So, I mean, he could have heard of the axe-handled hound.
That was the first noted.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of feel like the axe handle hound might be the origin of that.
You know what? That actually sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it is
Yep.
now fact. I declare it.
So, boom.
Wolf
Wolf.
says it is something.
Yes.
What is your favorite?
Boom.
My favorite has to be, by far,
I
the Dungan Haven Huta.
The Dungenhaven Hooter?
The Dungan Haven
Haven
Hooter.
Hooter.
Say that 5 times fast.
Dungenhaven Hooter.
Hooter.
Dungenhaven Hooter.
Anyways, this is a...
I think the creepiest one.
Really? I think this is the cutest one.
Is it the one that I'm thinking?
Probably.
The Dungan Haven Huta is a creature from the tales of lumberjacks from North
This
America.
is the one I'm thinking of.
It lived in Maine and in the upper peninsula of Michigan. It was described as a deadly alligator-like creature that has no mouth, but its nostrils were abnormally large. It also had short legs and thick, powerful tail. It makes no noise except a snort. It preys on the drunk, rum-filled lumberjacks by hiding behind a bush when a person stumbles by. The Dungenhaven Hooter leaps out and knocks its prey to the ground with its tail. The Dungenhaven Hooter then jumps up and down on its victims until gases are produced, which it inhales through its large nostrils. The Dungenhaven Hooter is now thought to just have been a crocodile. That is even more terrifying that a crocodile is tripping people and literally jumping on them.
He's just playing Mario.
Yeah, just think of like a wiener dog version of an alligator with a short tail.
Alligators are already wiener dogs.
Yeah, but this one's even shorter.
Have you seen alligator videos where they're just marching?
Yes, and they
They're so
are
cute.
Yeah, they are. I kind of want an alligator. Besides, where I know he'd probably eat me.
Just remember, don't hook it up to the fire hydrants.
Right,
here in
that's
Michigan.
illegal.
Yes, little known fact in Michigan, for you non-Michiganders listening, apparently it's illegal to tie an alligator to a fire hydrant.
I believe that's just in our local town.
No.
Is it? No, that's a
No.
Michigan state law.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to know.
I'm
why.
assuming it's because back
Yeah.
in the 19th century and turn of the century, it was actually pretty fashionable to have exotic pets.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I believe it started in Lansing, where a person actually just tied up their alligator to a fire hydrant.
Probably
And
while
then a
they're
house
going to the
burnt down,
store.
and then the fire department's like, well,
We're not trained to handle this.
there's an alligator
Hey,
there.
Jeff, can you hook up the fire hydrant? No,
No.
Bob, there's an alligator there.
It'd be that one European guy that's never seen an alligator. Have at thee, dragon!
Have at thee back. We need the water of life.
I'm just picturing Arthur from Fire Force now fighting an alligator.
Yup, me too.
All right, so yeah, that's my favorite one.
There's a lot of cool ones.
There's
Like
a
we've
lot.
said earlier, Agripelter was like this monkey-like creature. It'd sit up in trees with its
Yeah.
freakishly elongated
It has
arms,
long, splindling arms.
and it would throw rocks and branches at people.
Apparently,
But what we'll do is we're gonna take a break,
but
and then
the
we will come
Agripelter.
back to the Agropelter and many more fearsome critters.
He's got a ball bat.
Oh,
Oh no, the
Oh, no.
Agripelter's got a ball
Run.
bat.
so we'll be right back.
Help! Okay, we dealt with the thing with the bat.
The Agripelter with the baseball bat?
Yes.
Yeah, I punted him right across the yard.
He's coming back for you.
Oh no,
Oh,
I think we only have
dear.
about a half hour.
I'll get a Cactus Cat to work on this.
So yeah,
Maybe
speaking.
maybe that should have been my name instead of Ramen Cat. Cactus Cat.
No, we're like 14 episodes in. You can't change your name.
I am Cactus Cat now.
Who says?
I do.
No.
Fine.
Cactus Cats were an interesting cryptid. I don't think I covered the Agripelter, but anyways.
We're
You
gonna
guys were right in the middle of covering the Agropelter.
Oh,
Man.
okay. Well, cactus agropelters.
They're natural enemies. We have no idea if they are.
Anyways, agropelters, nasty little critter that would throw things at people.
Yeah.
Cactus cats, on the other
You
hand.
really want to talk about the cactus cat?
Well,
Yes,
the
I do.
algopelters were what? Looked like half monkey, half bear with abnormally long
They were
Spindly arms.
They were basically Sasquatches
I-
with long, spindly arms that sat in hollow trees.
Those weren't spindly. Those weren't long, spindly arms. They had tentacles for arms.
Yes, spindly arms, and they sat in hollow trees. And when you invaded on their territory, they'd throw things with deadly aim at you.
I feel like all it was at some point an orangutan got loose into
Yeah.
North America and someone really made it mad.
They're logging. Oh, where's this woodcock? Ow! 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 Stop it!
Get off my lawn.
How did he get a gun?
Jimmy, did you leave your axe handle alone again?
Oh no! He's throwing an axe now.
Yeah, moving on to the cactus cat.
Yep.
The cactus cat is a cat-like creature that is covered in what else but cactus bristles.
Yep.
And its tail looks like a cactus too in some drawings. It would go along and slash open saguaro cacti and let the juices flow out. Just for those that don't know, cactus juices are a terrible hallucinogenic. And
Also a diuretic.
and a diuretic. It's very poisonous. But a cactus cat would let it ferment. And then it would come back and drink it and get wasted.
Really wasted.
Really wasted.
wasted.
And just make all kinds of ruckus and get into fights. And it's great. It's what would happen if a cactus was alive.
All right, so hear me out. Some loggers, like, I don't know, like the Nevada desert or something like that, right? There's a lot of cactus around. Okay.
Yep.
It sees two bobcat fighting, but they recently like rolled in like a bushel of like cacti. So like they're just covered in cactuses.
You mean
Yeah.
And this guy's
signs?
just drunk and just sees two bobcat fighting covered in cactus.
could've
Sitting
also
on
just
his porch, just like, oh my gosh.
He could have also just drank cactus juice.
Yeah.
That's true, and
That's
been
true.
attacked by a bobcat.
More importantly, what I'm wondering in all this, why is a logger in the middle of the desert?
There was trees out there. Why do you think it's a desert?
Not very many.
He was
Yeah.
really good at his job.
He was really
I
good.
guess.
No.
Well,
Yeah, didn't
speaking
you
of
hear Paul Bunyan wiped all of the trees out there?
Yeah, didn't you hear
Yeah.
about the Nevada forest?
No. Is
Yeah.
it like the snipe?
Yes,
You
like the
just spring
snipe.
this on me last minute. Speaking
No.
of which, you want to cover that, Boom?
Already? We're not even halfway through like
I want to know about the snipe.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick detour from Fearsome Critters to
Isn't the snipe a fearsome critter?
it's not really so much a critter as more the activity you do to catch a snipe.
Oh, I thought
The
this was a
snipe
critter.
doesn't exist.
The snipe does not exist. Even loggers knew the snipe does not exist.
Up told me it did.
Who- Yes, one of
They found-
Pixar's best movies.
They found the snipe.
Literally the animated version of my grandpa.
Your grandpa was
kinda-
Ed Edsoner?
Also, he flew in a house
And he had a talking dog?
I want to meet this man.
and he fought another guy on a hot air balloon.
Looks just like my grandpa.
I really want to see a picture of him.
Like box head and everything.
Just about.
Huh. Interesting. He should play the new Doom guy in the new movie. Anyways, so
The
a
snipe.
snipe hunt is a task new recruits to the logging camp would be kind of forced to do / like tricked into doing. Also, many people that have joined the Boy Scouts, Eagle Scouts, done summer camps, band camps, anything we're in the woods, basically,
Or tried to help an old man.
or try to help an old man fly his house.
Yep.
So is this like a hazing thing?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's
Oh, okay.
exactly that.
It started out in Wisconsin lumberjack folklore.
Typical cheeseheads.
Wow. Shots fired at the Wisconsin.
I'm from Michigan, okay?
Anyways, lumberjacks would tell the new recruits about this snipe that was around in the area. They'd tell them that's a really fast bird that like darts bush to bush really quickly. And they'd tell them, well, you guys want to go snipe hunting tonight? And they'd convince them to grab a bag. And they'd lead them out into the middle of the woods. Put them out in the middle of the woods with the bag and tell them, well, we'll be back in a minute. We're going to go scare the snipe towards you. And they would walk. The guys that tricked the new guy would walk back to camp while shooting off a couple rounds of their rifle. And they'd get back to camp and they just kind of just wait for the new guy to figure out that they were never coming back.
Oh, I guess I don't gotta cut trees. I'm out.
Hey, I think I got fired.
So no, basically it was just a hazing thing where they'd use one of their fearsome critters or one of their tall tales to trick and kind of haze new loggers.
So hear me out. They send a guy out thinking they're hazing him with this snipe thing.
And he actually catches a snipe.
He just comes back with a cactus cat and lobs it at him. Take this!
Don't know what it is.
Or a Gungan hooter.
Or a Gungan hooter, just like a full string of like fur-bearing trout.
He just has a agripulter on his back.
I made friends while I was out.
And he angry at you guys.
With a little axe hound falling behind trying to get his axe.
No, so it was weird because while I was doing this research, I was like, snipes exist, right? Or like snipes were like a tall tale type of thing, right? Because I remember it from Up.
Yeah.
And I just did some research, and at first I found out that it was just a hazing thing that like campers would do it to each other, and I was like, well, where's the origins in this? And I was like, is there origins in like logging? And I found in this old Wisconsin logging folklore book that I found like on Google Reads that there's like a whole paragraph talking about how they'd haze new guys with the snipe hunt. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to know about it because you told me about it last minute before we started recording, and I thought it was a creature. I thought it was something that I missed as far as like...
I'm kind of upset that like I've been like to summer camps before, right? And like nobody's ever told me about a snipe or tried to convince me to go on a snipe hunt.
No.
I'm kind of upset about this.
You
run a camp.
We should get someone at your
Can we convince like a bunch of people to go snipe hunting?
Probably.
Who's the most gullible? We take them snipe hunting because it only works on the gullible.
I don't know. I would still do it just for fun.
I would too.
Just for fun, just standing up there.
Yeah.
So, should we finish off our list of fearsome critters, or should we get to the big man himself?
Well, what do you guys want to do?
We could talk about more critters all day.
Yeah, we could.
Long.
Yeah.
There's a Wampus.
Multiple
Let's do a
Wampuses.
quick overview of them. We're going to give you the
A
Wikipedia
lightning round.
rundown of fearsome critters. So, who wants to do
Going
this?
over the ones we already did go over?
We'll skip the ones that we already went over.
Okay, so there is the ball-tailed cat, a feline similar to a mountain lion, except for with a long tail and a bulbous end used for stinging its prey. It's kind of chimera in appearance, like it has a scorpion tail, basically.
Yep.
It honestly would be a very terrifying creature if it was real.
And then you have the Galakawaka.
Yeah,
The Galactus.
The Galactus is an animal resembling a mixture of a lion, boar, and bear, and my goodness, that would be horrible to run into.
Lion, tigers,
So it's
and
like
bears.
it's
oh
like
my.
a chimera then.
It's really like a griffin.
Yeah.
Well, which would be a chimera in a sense.
You have the Gumbaro, a rare hairless bear-like creature of nearly invulnerable skin. The animal's hide repels anything fired at it. Fire causes the Gumbaro to combust in a massive explosion.
Quick thing with that. If you want to have a good picture of it, also this might give you nightmares, just look up a hairless bear.
On fire.
That's called animal cruelty, and no.
No, you Photoshop it.
Okay,
I
that'd be
wouldn't
kind of
actually
cool.
like a hairless bear on
You
fire. I
couldn't.
like hairless bears.
They're creepy. I'm just going to let you know.
I like them.
Just let you know now. They are creepy.
There is also the infamous hide behind, an animal that seizes loggers and devours them. The animal was said to be so swift that it could hide behind the nearest tree before being seen.
Yep.
Another little detail on that is apparently is repelled by the smell of alcohol, and no one knows what it looks like because it's always behind you.
And when
Kind of like look behind you.
Hey.
Also, I've heard with it that it kills you by letting it see you or see it, so you die of fear.
That sounds like some SCP stuff going on there.
It does.
It does.
We have the Hodag, a creature of the Wisconsin swamps possessing horns and spines.
This has a long tail to it.
Kind of resembles a dragon in a sense without wings, like a very low squat dragon.
Yeah.
What was it they said that it's supposed to be a creature born from the ashes of the burnt carcass of oxen?
Yes.
Yep.
Which is kind of weird. But
It's actually a mascot of a Wisconsin area.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it is.
Wisconsin town.
Yeah.
There's there's a long story to it.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe if there's enough information, maybe we'll have to cover that in the topic.
We could
one
do
day.
like a half an episode.
Probably. There's also the Hodag, an animal similar to a moose with stiff, jointless legs and a large upper lip preventing it from grazing or laying down.
Yep.
So basically just a poor, sad creature that I'm not sure why anybody would think that exists or want to come up with
I mean, I could see running across a deformed moose.
I think it's
That's true.
I think it's an explanation also for because you'll find trees without bark on them like they were rubbed off.
Yeah.
Because moose would do that and stuff. So it's
Right.
like, oh, that was a giant beast with
That was a Hodag.
a whole gag.
Somehow Hodag is like easier to say than moose or bear did it.
Well, it's just not as interesting.
There is the side hill gouger, an animal legged for hillsides, having legs on one side taller than the other, thus always it to travel hillsides, and that's really weirdly worded sentence. Mountain goats, if I remember, or not mountain goats. Well, I think it's a mountain goat. The ibex is
That's a
actually
goat.
like that. The ibex has one as a set of legs that's just slightly shorter than the others.
Yeah.
Another thing with that is how it decides what legs are shorter is what side of the mountain it's spawned on. And then they'll have like gang fights.
I'm the
Because
left side. I'm the right.
some side, because like if you walk around a mountain, you can only walk one way around the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they'd
like-
meet up.
Yeah, they'd meet up.
Like, what you doing here?
There is the Splinter Cat, a legendary cat of the Pacific Northwest that uses incredible speed and stiff forehead to smash into large trees, knocking the branches off withering trunks. My goodness, my kitten at home is one of these things. She will just charge you and be like, "Love me."
So hiding in tree from it doesn't go.
And then there is the poor, pitiful Squonk.
Poor
An
Squonk.
animal saddened by its deformed countenance cries incessantly and will even dissolve into tears if seen.
Stinking Wikipedia and its big words.
It's also said that skunks hated drinking water because they'd see their reflection and they would only travel under a new moon.
And it is also extremely easy for hunters to find the squonk because it left a trail of tears behind.
Quick thing that with traveling under the new moon reminded me of with the agropelter. They only had babies on the leap year day,
February 29th.
February 29th.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's
Was it
the
February?
only
Right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the only day was February 29th.
Huh. Interesting.
Don't know how they found that out.
Don't know.
Right.
There,
Maybe they just saw a bunch of them all at once on that day.
Maybe.
Or they got really drunk on that day because it
They could.
technically doesn't exist.
Tea kettler, a small variety of vermin that makes a noise like a tea kettle. Also, as said, no one knows what a tea kettler sounds like. Just when you hear tea kettle sounds out in the woods, it's a tea kettler. Don't question it.
Couldn't this just be like somebody on shrooms hearing cicadas?
Yeah.
I don't know. There is sounds out in the woods that do sound like tea kettles, but I'm pretty sure they're birds. But I'm told by the internet it's a tea kettler. I will not question whether it is a tea kettler.
Do
or
not question the internet.
There is the Wampus Cat, a large phantom panther that varies widely in appearance. This one was one of the few, when I was looking at it, that actually is borrowed from Native American folklore for like a spirit cat.
So it's like a guardian spirit type of thing?
And if I remember, it's like a guardian spirit, just like a nature spirit.
Okay.
I
that
could
makes
be
sense.
completely wrong in that.
So in a way, like a Thunderbird type.
kind
creature.
of it falls into that
Okay.
type of category. There is, did we cover the Whirling Wampus?
Nope.
No.
Whirling Wampus is a gorilla-like monster with large arms and horse-like hooves with the ability to spin around in a small tornado to catch prey, similar to Taz of Looney Tunes.
The Tasmanian
Actually,
devil.
Taz was basically taken right from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. There is actually a Tasmanian devil, but yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Tasmanian
So-
devils are these little chubby, angry dog things.
There is the belled buzzard, a vulture with a bell affixed to it, the ringing of which is cited as an omen of disaster.
Oh.
That actually sounds creepy and sounds like some like Middle Eastern folklore right
Yeah.
there.
It
Yeah,
also
it does.
reminds me of like hearing a bell before you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also the Gilly Gagalu bird, a bird that lays a square egg, so they do not roll. Interesting.
That's just weird.
There's the Goofus bird, the backwards flying bird that builds its nest upside down. Okay. Has anyone ever seen a bird called a woodcock?
No.
Yes.
Probably.
The thing you know how a hornet flies with its butt tucked under itself?
Yeah.
A woodcock flies with its butt tucked under itself. Its beady little wings go neat really fast. It looks like a giant hornet. It's got this long, spindly beak. And if I remember right, its brain is upside down in its head.
Jesus.
It is the weirdest looking thing ever. I ran across one in the woods before. I was like, huh, that's a weird... Oh my goodness! As it flies off and
That's-
mutates into this eldritch horror as it flies.
Interesting.
So I think the Goofus bird is a woodcock.
Okay. I'm not going to argue
I'm
with
terrified of them.
I haven't seen one.
you. All right.
The Goofus bird is the thing of nightmares.
Yes, it is.
All right. And we also have the fur-bearing trout, a species of trout which grows a thick fur for warmth in cold climates.
Then there is the hoop snake, loop-de-loop.
Yep.
Snake which bites its tail to enable it to roll like a wheel. I don't know about that, but as Wolf was saying earlier, snakes are dumb enough to eat their own tails.
Also, with the hoop snake, it doesn't mention it, but it only travels like a hoop when it's attacking something.
Sounds like the skeletons in Dark Souls. That just
Don't mention
they're-
those.
They're
because-
grafted into the wheel.
No, I had to deal with those today.
Okay. Poor you.
Like
Died
when you were out
5
mowing, when
times.
you were out mowing a lawn.
No, I was playing Dark Souls 1.
Oh,
They are a
okay.
pain in the
Never fought them in Dark Souls 1.
There is also
They kill you instantly.
Oh, they're super fast in that one, aren't they?
Yeah.
They slowed them down in the newer games.
Yeah.
So
there is also the joint snake, a snake that can reassemble itself after being cut to pieces and break apart when hit with something. I think what this could be, has anyone here ever heard of a glass snake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
I have.
glass lizard?
Glass
Yep.
lizard.
It looks like a snake with a weird lizard head. They're actually legless lizards, which is weird because we're taught snakes
Are lizards.
reptiles with no legs,
Yeah.
but lizards are lizards because they have legs.
Yep.
But this guy is just like, you know what? The heck with all those rules. It also can break large
Very easily.
sections of its tail off at will.
that's cool. I mean, most lizards can remove.
No,
their
this
tail.
is like a lot.
I know, but I mean, like most lizards, not most, some lizards can just remove their whole tail if they're being eaten.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
true.
Yeah.
But this one, their tail will actually shatter.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we have the snow snake.
Which
No, we had the Snallygaster.
We talked about them.
Oh, we already did talk. I just want to talk about him again. Whatever.
it's got a great name, Snallygaster.
Snallygaster.
Snow snake.
Snow
The snow
snake.
snake is a snake that is only active during the winter months, which, as somebody who doesn't like snakes, is kind of weird because it's just like it could just be burrowing under the snow like Jaws, just da 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 da.
I can see the story behind this because logging in the winter, you're just like, hey, watch out for the snakes. It's wintertime. There is no snakes.
Frostbite.
The snow snakes.
Yeah, frostbite could be the explanation for like.
That's 2.
Also,
Bite.
during the winter, if it's really blowing wind, you'll see patterns in the snow, which
That's
is
two.
wind kind of like wind canyons. So
How come
Yeah.
there's no fur-bearing snakes? That would be adorable.
no,
Yes.
snakes don't need anything else attached to them.
They need
That's called a pipe cleaner.
fur-bearing horned winged snakes.
That's a dragon.
Actually, I think that's a dinosaur that existed.
That's a T-Rex.
That's
Oh, yeah.
not a T-Rex.
It's a legless T-Rex.
You've been lied to by science. T-Rexes were really, really long, furry, and had horns and little bat wings.
All right, so
There's a lot more, but that's what's on the wiki.
that's kind of like
That's
the
a
Hall
summary
of Fame of
Yeah.
Fearsome Critters.
Yeah.
A quick side note. I actually just closed the wiki, but there's actually a miniature game. I think it's like a war game where you make fearsome critters as miniatures, and you play the game with
I
them.
believe there's also a card game called Fearsome Critters.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little side note.
I believe that's actually the name of the game is Fearsome Critters.
I wouldn't surprise me because I use that for everything.
Yep.
We should call this podcast Fearsome Critters.
No.
No. Do we have time to talk about Paul Bunyan?
I mean, he might step on us if we don't.
Yeah, that's true.
That is very true.
That is true. And
I don't want to get teabagged by Paul Bunyan.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh.
Transformers 2.
All right, so yeah, we have enough time. We can go over a little bit, so it's fine.
What are the
Ramen
great...
Cat,
Yes.
you know the most about Paul Bunyan.
I do not know the most about Paul Bunyan.
What's
but
the greatest hits of Paul Bunyan?
the greatest hits of Paul Bunyan?
Yeah, like him digging out Lake Michigan and like...
Yeah, I guess for people that don't know, Paul Bunyan is a big piece of American folklore.
Yep.
Pure
But,
folklore.
like, yeah, pure folklore, because there's no way this guy could have existed. It'd be great if he did. I guess in some cases those stories probably not.
You need a lot of cows.
He
And oatmeal.
was a man who was rumored to have been 200 foot tall.
Yeah.
And actually just a really great person.
Yep.
Unlike most stories of giants, where giants are terrible, vicious creatures.
This dude was jolly, flannel-wearing lumberjack.
Yep, jolly flannel wearing lumberjack. It was said that it took 7 storks to carry him when he was a baby to his parents.
And then it took his parents 24 cows to keep his baby bottle full of milk.
yeah.
And then he would eat literally a ton of porridge a day.
I think it was like 2 tons of porridge.
And when he
Yeah.
got big enough, they moved his crib onto a raft out into the bay because it was said that they lived in Maine.
Yep.
So they were on the coast. But the problem was when the baby would toss and roll around,
He would sink chips.
He would sink ships.
And
Or
cause
towns.
or
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 start
towns.
sinking the town.
And his snoring would cause big waves.
Yeah. So his parents like, well, our child's destroying public property. We can't afford the damages. Let's move further inland. So they moved deep into the forest where Paul grew up and found a love for some reason of cutting down trees. I guess when you're tall and have nothing to do, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And he just grew and grew and grew and started being able to fell trees with the good solid swipe.
I think one day he found a frostbitten ox.
Yes,
Named Boo?
during a winter when it was so cold that when you spoke words, the
Yeah.
words would freeze and just like drop where they were.
And the snow was blue.
And the snow, it was so cold, the snow turned blue.
Yeah, I
Paul
remember
found
that story.
this baby ox bouncing around out in the snow, and he took it home with him because you don't leave baby blue ox out in the middle of the wilderness.
No, you
That's
don't.
just unresponsible.
Very
I would be
unresponsible.
freaking out that I found a blue ox. So
You're a 200-foot tall lumberjack.
I would
You
be
don't
freaking out that I
question.
became 200 foot tall.
Well, one of the things was whenever Paul Bunyan would raise animals and stuff, anything that was in his care just seemed to grow unnaturally large. And for Babe, that was very...
Babe.
Yes, he
Yeah,
named
that
it
was
Babe.
Babe.
Because of its gentle nature.
Yeah, I thought it for some reason was Boo, but it wasn't.
Say
But,
boo.
but Babe grew huge.
Yeah.
Like, colossal. It was said that it would take a murder of crows a day to fly from one end of his horns to the next, which is just like
Massive.
That's big. And also some legends say that he was constantly growing. But he was Paul Bunyan's loyal companion. No complaints from this ox.
He
Best
helped him
ox
along.
ever. Yep. They went westward to the Pacific Northwest. And along the way, they clear-cutted the Dakotas. Like Paul...
The Nevadas?
Yep. Paul just wiped out all the trees in the Dakotas and Nevada.
I told you there was a Nevada forest. He was so good at it, they just cleared it all out. You didn't believe me.
But, well, okay, from where I went through in Arizona to Nevada, it was like, hey, there's some trees. Oh, there's no more trees.
Paul Bunyan went through.
I mean, that's just when he, like, picked up his axe for, like, a second to swing.
It's said that locations like the Mississippi River were created by an accident where a babe was hauling a cart of water and like accidentally slipped and tipped it over.
Was it?
Lake Michigan was made
A swimming hole for Babe.
no
Nope,
water
water hole.
A water
watering
hole for Babe. And then Lake Superior was a reservoir for
His ice roads.
his ice roads.
His ice paths.
ice road truckers.
That's a
The
good
Grand
show.
Canyon was just made by him dragging his axe.
Yep,
That was great.
that was. Yellowstone Falls were created by Paul to be able to take a bath.
And basically, any mountain range in the U.S. and most of Canada is attributed to either Paul Bunyan and Babe like fighting, wrestling around, or there's said that the Black Mountains of Utah,
Black Hills.
Black Hills of, is it Utah?
Or Minnesota.
No, it was. I don't remember where Black Hills are, but
Anyways, the Black Hills is the resting ground of Babe.
yep. And then just as time went on, Paul did such a good job that things just became too crowded because it made way for civilization.
He went north
And he just went north
to Alaska.
into the
And some say, I remember this from the very first legend I heard of this, and some say that the Northern Lights are, him just messing around.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what do you do when you're a 200-foot giant in the north?
Yeah.
Mess with light.
But yeah, that is Paul Bunyan. There's a lot of variance in the stories.
There
of
is so
course.
much variance that there's argument over which one is the most accurate, what retelling is the best. There's even like kid versions of it, which everybody I think should like watch the Disney version of it because I don't know, I like it.
It will make. I vaguely remember being sad at the end and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
Most American folklore, it's like it has kind of a somber end to it because it's
Yeah.
like we have a tendency when we tell a story. It's like here it is from the very beginning to the very end.
Yeah. Sad.
I'm just sad that Babe died, but he died of old age. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Some say like the Disney version says that
Babe and him went up to Alaska. And
went up to Alaska and them wrestling around is the
Northern
Lights and the thundering like of storms and stuff.
Yep.
So
Huh. Please
Yeah.
stop sending snow our way.
But yeah, Paul Bunyan is just pure
Or send the
folklore.
blue snow. I'd like to see the blue snow.
That'd be
that
cool.
would be cool.
That would be cool.
I don't want my words to freeze.
I don't know. That'd be really cool.
They also
Like
say
it would
that
be
the,
terrifying, but it'd also just be cool to see like words form and then just like drop out of the sky.
they also oh man, my throat. Sorry. They also say that summer the words de-thawed and you could hear the conversations.
That would be terrifying.
That would
Like
be.
it just echoed down from the hills.
Right.
Which actually, if you think about it, kind of plays into a different legend of where travelers have in like Yellowstone have heard
Voices of others.
echo across
Yeah.
the sky. I could see that being like, voices must have thawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, to take the fun out of Paul Bunyan is like the epitome of a lumberjack. He is the most
Yeah.
effective. He is the most lovable and well known, as well as he is the one that did the most.
Yeah.
Yep.
which wow, I think we're all having voice problems today. Yeah, which for like a lumberjack is just like, I don't know. You always tell the tale of like a supernatural being, like, or like something supernatural or something like spectacular happening to your job just to get it done so quickly.
Yep.
So you're looking at like clearing out like a whole state of like forest for like development and stuff like that, and you're just like imagining like, what if we had a giant just do all this with a giant blue ox and
Just swinging his axe
Yeah,
tree
it's
by
just like-
tree.
like even at our own jobs, like we just talk about like, what if this paperwork just like miraculously did itself, or what if I had a monkey come do my paperwork for me or something. Like,
I keep dropping hints to my manager. I want a robot to carry my
exactly,
toolbox.
right?
You could get those now.
I know you can. That's why I keep saying it.
They're only like $100,000.
I know during the
Might be-
pandemic, people found out you could buy a tiger for exactly $1,500, which is what the stimulus checks were.
I wish I knew this.
It was right around Tiger King as well. So
Oh.
yeah,
Ooh.
Interesting. Is there anything else that we?
yes, there's a lot more, but unfortunately, I think we're running out of time for this episode.
We
so-
are, and for the Paul Bunyan story, there's so much more to it. You have to check it out yourself. I just gave
You
kind
do.
of a very brief overview
And
of
that's
it.
kind of the point of the show, is we try to get people interested into it. We try to give people enough like story and lore about it that they feel satisfied, but obviously, like, what's the fun of taking all the work out of something?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
True.
if you really like something that we talked about, like, search it up, find it out.
Send us some notes.
Yeah,
There
send
are
us some notes.
plenty of
Yeah.
other people that go super deep into the stories.
Yep. Like, I'm sure there's podcasts that just talk like a whole episode about Paul Bunyan. So-
I believe Lore did that.
Did he?
Yeah. That's where I first heard like the super myth of Paul Bunyan.
Might have to find that episode
mean,
again.
It's really good.
Well,
Save
all of
for
his episodes
study.
are really good.
Yeah.
So
Save for studying this, I grew up with a few stories here and there of
Yeah.
Paul Bunyan.
The most I heard about Paul Bunyan was the Disney short.
that's the biggest tale I knew as well. But I also just really like that that whole movie that they did.
Yeah.
The movie was called Tall Tales,
Tall Tales?
and it was made in 1995. So
1995?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long ago. Wow.
it had, I guess we're talking about this for a second. Tall Tales had everything from Paul Bunyan to let me look at it.
Oh, it's this one.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what the stories it had in it.
It had the.
I know
Didn't
that
it have the dude that fought the train for railroads?
Yeah, it had that guy.
I know that there was a for an animation there was an old 60s version as well.
Yeah, that's the animation.
Yeah,
ones
that's
I
the one that I'm
remember.
talking about. This is a live action one. I didn't even know this one existed.
Neither did I.
This one might be one of those that are actually banned by the looks of it. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, don't listen to me. That's not the right one. There's a different one that is animated that
It was an old Disney short.
that was an old Disney one, and that one was much more better. I like that one because it had singing and stuff in it. I can't remember the name of it though.
There's also a song we can recommend them to too, isn't there?
The Paul Bunyan.
I found it. Disney American Legends. It's made in 2001. It's a
Yeah.
direct-to-video animation. This one had
Paul Bunyan.
John Henry, which was
Henry.
the man that basically raced the steam drill.
Yeah, when they were making railroads.
The Legend of Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan, the Brave Engineer, which is about the story of Casey Jones.
I have the Grateful Dead song running through my head.
The Grateful Dead song.
There's a Grateful
Whoa.
Dead song called Casey Jones.
Is there?
What
I'll
was
have to listen to
the
that.
Grateful Engineer one exactly about? Because I don't think I remember that one.
Oh, the Grateful Engineer is the one where the one engineer is racing the or not racing. is...
I'm gonna have to watch this.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember this one. It's been a long time. 2001 was a long time ago.
I know, that's when I was born.
He races, or he's on the track, and I know there's a bad guy. Like, there's an old-fashioned bad guy, like you can see in the movie poster here, that ties a lady to the train tracks.
Oh, okay.
And
it's a train engineer.
Technicolor. You can tell how old it is when they say it's in Technicolor.
Okay, I remember. It's a train engineer, like when they're driving the train driving drivers.
Yes.
Not an actual engineer.
No,
Which
an
I was
actual
thinking.
engineer.
What? I'm confused.
They're all actual engineers.
They are. A train operator is a
We're
train
not.
engineer.
But
Yeah.
tonight we're talking about lumberjacks.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
talked about lumberjacks.
We were talking about lumberjacks.
So,
You said there was a song?
Yes, and I
Suggesting-
believe it is just called Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan by the... we were looking up the copyright status of this just a minute ago.
Because we wanted to play it on the show, but
Yeah.
that won't work.
Can I play this without getting anything?
Hurry, mute it. Oh no.
It is Paul Bunyan, and on YouTube it is you can find it with the New Christie Minstrels topic.
And the album is Land of Giants.
Yes, it's very catchy, very old fashioned.
It's going on my
just
playlist.
Really fun. Again, some of the lore in it is different from the stories, or the stories are different from the lore of the song. Which
Yeah.
the song is just fun.
It's a really catchy song.
It is a
It
really
is.
catchy song.
Honestly, it reminds me of these songs from Far Cry 5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, yeah, what do you guys think? You guys like lumberjack lore?
Yes.
I do. I'm gonna become a lumberjack now. See you guys.
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
Wolf's coming with me.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
You're staying here, right, Kai Kai?
No,
Yeah.
she's a lumberjack too.
What?
So
Yep.
are you? You're the one
No,
with the
Kai
flannel.
Kai's staying.
No,
I have
No.
3 flannel shirts.
That's more than
it.
me.
that's more than me. How about you, Kai Kai?
I have many.
Well, it looks like you two are lumberjacks now.
Well, shucks.
We'll be the truck driver.
Yeah. We'll be the ones out on the frozen lake doing donuts with a truckload of wood.
All right. Well, I don't know. I personally really like lumberjack lore.
I do
Um,
too.
It's
Yeah.
not even lumberjack lore. It's lumberjack folklore, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Really,
I mean,
it is.
I really like just folklore in general, but lumberjack folklore is really good.
Yeah.
It's just
Pretty good.
it's really just good fun.
Yeah.
Like there's no there's warnings on some of this stuff, but I can see a lot of it just being just to pick on people about like you left your axe out and the dog ate it.
Right.
Or just
True.
pass the time with like Paul Bunyan stories.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to talk about a 200-foot tall man and his Titanic-sized blue ox eradicating every bit of plant life?
Right.
Right.
All right. So I think this is a good time to end it.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. So we appreciate you listening. We hope that you like this episode. So yeah, if you like this podcast, please give us a rate and review on iTunes as well as Podchaser, because we are on that site as well, and it's really good for, I don't know, just following us and giving us reviews and stuff. Because also on there we can reply. So
Ooh.
I'm not sure if we can reply on iTunes or not. So I never heard a
We
reply
can
feature
comment on
iTunes.
comments, I believe.
Can you?
I don't know. I don't use iTunes.
Yeah, but you know what? You can also go to YouTube. At,
yeah.
Look behind you on YouTube, and there you can comment on all of our podcasts as well as you can also find our other podcast called the Podcast Behind the Podcasts, where we just basically do random stuff or
And
talk
say
about random stuff.
things.
Yes, randomly
Randomly.
Ooh, interesting.
But
Yes.
in order.
in order,
Planned
but
out.
randomly in order.
Randomly planned out in order.
But in all actuality, we talk about anime, we talk about video games, we talk about horror movies, we talk about actual movies. We talk about the circumference of black holes, for all we know.
Didn't we do that last time?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that conversation got deep.
Also,
We just-
while you're on that YouTube page, please give us a subscription and also hit that subscribe bell. And like this video.
The YouTube lingo has fallen us to podcasts.
Also, if you want to follow for updates on the podcast, as well as just being able to interact with us, you can follow us on Twitter at BehindYouPod.
Yep.
There you can basically just say hi, because we like it when you say hi. There, I stole it directly from Lore. He can sue me now.
I just realized
think the
that.
challenge was just accepted. I just heard
He
a lawyer
is
slam.
one of the biggest podcasters in the world.
Yeah, I just heard like a
So-
lawyer's suitcase slam shut as he's just like, case
He's-
accepted.
A lawyer just literally cocked his suitcase,
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a case
got in
to
his
win.
Tesla, and is currently heading my way.
Yes.
Oh no.
It's okay. A Tesla in this area won't make it very far. So
It'll
No,
stop
true.
at the Meyer and the station way that way.
Yep. And besides for that, that's about it for the podcast itself.
Yeah.
Like always, if you do like what you're listening to, please just tell your friends and family about us and get them to listen.
Yep.
Because
Some of the biggest ways to get podcast news out is just talking to it about
Right.
friends.
I am also a poor lumberjack and can't afford marketing. So
Did the
That
dog
too.
eat your axe?
yeah, and I only have 3 flannel shirts, obviously.
Do you
so-
know how much
Oh.
axes cost?
Do you know how much flannel costs?
A lot.
It's hard being a
lumberjack.
lumberjack
It is
now.
hard being a
It's
lumberjack.
expensive.
It's just
Very.
easier to buy a jacket and get a chainsaw and just go vroom vroom.
Yeah.
Also, so you can follow me personally at SirBoom9 on Twitter, as well as you can also find me in another podcast called Baka Talk. There I talk with some other friends about anime, manga, kind of just also random like video game and pop culture stuff as well, but we try to mainly stick to anime and manga. And yeah, we actually just had a guest host on that podcast as well, which is another one of my friends. So that
I
was
didn't
fun.
hear about this.
Yeah. Pyrolus's brother was actually on there.
Yeah,
That's
his
interesting.
dad
Yeah.
kind of
Dad.
abandoned him at work.
Yeah, it was interesting how he ended up on the episode, but it worked out really well. It was enjoyable. So
Did he show up halfway through?
no, he showed up with me.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, you can follow me there and also find me there. Ramen Cat, where can they find you?
So you can find me at Twitter, on Twitter at RamenCat13.
Yeah, awesome.
There, I haven't been super active, but I just kind of post random stuff, tabletop gaming,
Yeah.
memes and stuff. I've been really getting into a lot of historical pages on there,
Cool.
some mythology stuff, just a little of everything.
Yeah,
So if anyone ever wants to just talk, they can just drop me a message.
there you go. Wolf, where can they find you?
Just on the podcast Twitter.
On the podcast Twitter.
I check there every once in a while.
Give them a cookie.
Yes.
I'm still waiting for those pictures of pickles.
Oh yeah.
I remember several months ago requesting pickles for Wolf. Like, people just to send gifts of pickles.
You know what? Now you need to give him cookie pickles. Pickle cookies.
Maybe.
Do it.
The
It
challenge,
might be a curse upon this land, but do it.
the challenge has been set. The quest must be met.
Okay.
I think I already know the answer to this, but Kai, is there anything that you want to shout out? No?
No.
Silent head
Alright,
shakes.
sounds good.
No.
Yeah. Besides for that, we appreciate you listening, and remember, look behind you, because you never know what you see. See you all later.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Or good morning.
Who knows?